There's another huge change for some. There's like some skills that have been changed. One of those skills is the support skill Revealing Flare. Now, they've changed this skill because why would you slot it just to reveal people? Like, you've got to really work within an organized group to have any use of this skill. Like, so in a really organized group in PvP, you maybe would have one person run that. You'd maybe have one person run this skill and one person run that skill, one person run that skill, so that you can combine all those things to have like a working PvP based team for certain situations. But like, it's a waste of a skill if you never cast it and you don't reveal anyone. What's the point in having it? So they've added a passive bonus to it in a similar way to like how you gain a passive bonus for things like Mage Light. So when you look at, like, if you slot in a light, well, let's say PvP, what slot did you gain? Major Prophecy. So that's got like a slottable benefit. Like, so even if you don't use the skill, it's still got a benefit to you because it's giving you that Major Prophecy. So they've done the same. They've done the same with Revealing Flare. Now this also means that we get something that's good for PvE tanks. So in really hard-hitting content, you might have seen tanks slot defensive stance. So you'll have seen it in Rock Grove Last Boss. You'll have seen it in a lot of newer tanks also slot defensive stance anyway, because it gives you the block cost reduction, a very small amount, but it also reduces your incoming damage. But then you've also got the fact that you've got things like, well, this now, Revealing Flare, you slot it and you get Major Protection, reducing your damage taken by 10%. Now, Major Protection is nowhere near as strong as it used to be, so I think I don't actually mind this. Being able to obtain Major Protection without having to jump through hoops and all these kind of things to get, like, a very minor buff, in my opinion. Like, when it was 30%, when Major Protection was a 30% damage reduction, that was really, really strong. So it made sense then that it was only able to, you were only able to get Major Protection via certain skills, certain ultimate skills, and like gear sets that meant you had to really build high into that to get that Major Protection. And it makes sense. Like 30% was huge. Now it's 10%. It's a bit underwhelming. So it's a really good change now that this is obtainable just by slotting a skill. Obviously, when you combine it with sort of, I mean, it's going to be better off slotting this. The problem is it takes a slot on your bar. So, but if you've got nothing else to slot on your bar, you might as well be slotting something like this. You can even slot this and defensive stance, and they both reduce damage. So, we managed to get Saint Olms on Vet Asylum Sanctorium to hit me for 2,800. That was when we stacked Mitigation. That's when we got defensive stance and we got Revealing Flare on the bar. We had Temporal Guard. We had Major and Minor Maim. And then we had the new CP slottable. That 15k hit that boss does was then hitting us for 2,800 damage. So it's absolutely huge. It's really, really nice. It's a nice way now to obtain a decent buff. Like, Major Protection isn't absolutely terrible, but some of the things, like if you've previously used Temporal Guard, for example, obviously you have to use an ultimate slot for that. Well, let's say you want to have Barrier as your front bar ultimate because either you might sometimes use it or you want the Magical Recovery. Well, now you can get that. And instead of slotting Temporal Guard, you can slot Revealing Flare instead. Like I say, the only trouble you're going to have is, like, obviously the bar space. If you're in a trial where you need a lot of different skills, you need a lot of different, like, stuff to be slotted, then you're going to have a hard time finding somewhere to put it. But, like, when you're in really hard-hitting, high-damage environments, then stick it on. I really think that now, things like Kind's Aegis should be really, really easy. Like, Kind's Aegis Last Boss, you probably don't even need to dodge roll anymore. Do you know what I mean? I'd love to be able to go and test that, but we'll have to wait until we actually get this on the live server. There's no chance of me finding a raid group to get me through to Last Boss Foulgraven just to test this. But yeah, if you were to slot Revealing Flare, the new CP slottable, do you know what I mean? You're going to be able to absolutely blast through Foulgraven hard mode without any trouble next patch.